break right to it. And good evening, everyone, from Bayport High School. It's time for another sectional semifinal. It is Kaukauna, the number 1 seed in the Wisconsin Rapids sectional, taking on the number 13th seed, Kimberly Papermakers. Good evening, alongside Joey D. and our producer tonight, Connor Olson. We're ready for a great matchup. We saw one last night, Xavier Littleshoot. Now we follow it up with longtime rivals in the FVA, Kimberly, Kaukauna, Joey D. It doesn't get much better than this.
This is what it's all about. This is March. This is madness if ever there was. You got two local teams that know each other very well. Both teams obviously on a roll, having a little mini win streak to get here. Yeah, mini for Kaukauna. 16 games in a row. 3 games for Kimberly, but all of them under a new head coach. These two teams know each other very well. They go way back, playing in the same conference in the FVA. The history is amazing between these two. And, hey, you got a sectional semifinal on the line here tonight. Again, doesn't get any better than this.
And Kimberly, they have a long history of some very successful coaches, and you got to go back to the 90s. John Myron, back-to-back state championships in 94 and 95, and then you throw in another Hall of Famer, Lucky Wirtz, 13 years in the business. Then you bring in John Murphy for 3 years before Freddie Owens took over this year, and Freddie steps aside, resigns going into the West De Pere game. As you mentioned, only 4 games ago, Josh Hoffenberger takes over as the interim coach, and this is a team that has a lot of talent and is playing well. And I think you throw the records out. We saw Kaukauna having to beat Neenah for a 3rd time, and now you got to do it again against one of your division rivals.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the new head coach, they have bought in to what he's selling. He's no stranger to these guys either. This is a guy who has coached at the JV level. He's taught some of these guys. He's taught some of their brothers and sisters along the way. So he's very familiar with them. They're familiar with him. They're playing really good basketball, and they're in free mode. Talking with him before the game tonight, he tells us, he told me, Joey, this is free basketball for us, and we're just out there trying to play our best. We know what's at stake here, but they're playing free ball, and they're really buying into what he has sold since taking over. You might imagine there'd be some changes, but he's just letting them play the way that they play. And obviously playing really good basketball, getting here with a rivalry win, and now another rivalry here with the stakes even higher as we move right along. And as for Kaukauna, that 16-game winning streak, longtime head coach Mike Shallow. You talked about the coaches of Kimberly. How about the coaching of Mike Shallow and what he has done? Yet another sectional appearance.
It's been unbelievable. 17 regional championships for Coach Shallow, of course. 4 trips to the state tournament. Trying to get back there for the first time since 2018. Speaking of Kimberly and how well they're playing, they knock off the number 4 seeded Holman in the first round of the regionals on Friday night. And then they beat Appleton North, a team that beat this Kaukauna team earlier this year. They fall as the number 5 seed. So really, truly, they are playing with house money. No question about that when we're talking about the Kimberly Papermakers. Let's step aside in our North Star Dental Group pregame show. And when we come back, I got a chance to catch up with head coach Mike Shallow. So we'll come back and do that after this timeout. We're getting set for Kaukauna and Kimberly tonight in a sectional semifinal on a Thursday night from Bayport High School.
Wait, how many times do I have to come back?
Personal foul, too many appointments. You should have gone to North Star Dental.
Dr. Pete and his team have experience, and with today's technology, can do more dentistry in just one visit.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pete Haley from North Star Dental, and dental implants should last a lifetime. Whether you need a single tooth replacement or a full mouth reconstruction, you can get it all done here under one roof.
North Star Dental, changing your life by changing your smile.
It's time to catch up with head coach Mike Shallow. First off, coach, congratulations not only on the victory over Neenah to win another regional championship, but how about being voted the 6th FVA Coach of the Year, 6th time in your history at Kaukauna? Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Craig. Greatly appreciated. I know that this team has really evolved in being something really special in my 30 years at Kaukauna, and we'll see when it's all said and done, where it's going to kind of rank out. But very fortunate to have a talented group of young men and a great coaching staff that is, together have been able to accomplish this, and very fortunate and grateful to be a part of it.
63-54 over the Neenah Rockets. Always tough playing a team out of your own conference for a third time, but you got your 17th regional championship, 482 wins now in your career. And I know there's a lot of accolades over 30 years. We can talk about a lot of different numbers, but really the only focus right now, you can throw all the stats out the window. There's only one thing you're thinking about right now, and that's tonight against the Kimberly Papermakers. And this is a team that's 12-13 overall, but they are playing very good basketball after Freddie Owens stepped away. Josh Hoffensberger has done a very nice job. They are playing good basketball, 3-1 their last 4 games. Talk about the challenges of playing a team for a third time that you already beat twice, very much like Neenah.
Well, unfortunate. We've had to see a lot of FEA schools here in the postseason, starting with Appleton West and then, of course, Neenah over the weekend. And looking at a Kimberly team that is really they put on the rally caps. They've really made a turn here in the last number of weeks. They've got a 3-game winning streak going. I think the team is playing really hard. I think there's a look at what they've done in terms of their rotation and player personnel, and tweak some things both on the offense and defensive end. And I think more importantly is you always want to be playing your best, come tournament time. And I like to think that, the Ghosts have continued to play better and better as we've gone through the season and as we've hit the tournament trail. But also we have a great understanding on what we're facing tonight on a Kimberly team that is believing.
And you handled Kimberly pretty easily in the first 2 meetings, but I think you throw that out the window, obviously, when you're playing the conference opponent like this. Let's talk about some of their talent. They do have some good size, and I love Mikey Wilds, really good basketball player, very athletic kid. Landon Van Offren, very solid as well, a 17-point game against you guys in the meeting at Kimberly. And Ben Grabner, talk about him, number 44, the big man inside. He had 26 and 9 on 11 of 16 shooting at the game against you guys in the first game. But talk about their skill level.
Well, I think first of all, they've got 4 seniors that we believe will be in the starting lineup again tonight. And so it brings about a wealth of experience. It brings about some senior urgency when you get to this time of the year. And then, as mentioned, I think, it starts first of all with, a second team all conference and Van Offren. Landon Van Offren's a very physical player. He's showing the ability to stretch it a little bit on the perimeter, but going to the rim, posting up, getting on the offensive glass. He brings some toughness and physicality to him. You got the length in Ben Grabner, who likes to play away from the basket, I think, as much as playing near the basket at 6'9". And he's shown the ability to shoot the 3 very well. I believe he had 4 threes against us the second time, had a season high 26 points against us. And so you've got a big that can step away from the basket. As you mentioned, I think Mikey Wilds is a really solid player. He brings a nice skill set. He brings experience. He's athletic. He can get to the rim. He's a player that can score at all 3 levels. I think you round it out with a couple other players that you can't sleep on. Alex Krause and Aaron Cullen, both very talented basketball players and can score and double-figure scorers on any given night.
Yeah, it should be an exciting atmosphere at Bayport High School tonight. Obviously, Kimberly, longtime adversary, a couple of playoff losses back in 04 and 05, and looking for some redemption from those 2 particular games, I would assume. 31 and 32 in your career against Kimberly. So it has been a very tight competition between these two schools. We wish you luck tonight. Get yourself a sectional win, and then we'll catch up with you hopefully on Saturday before a big sectional final. But first things first, got to take care of business tonight against Kimberly. Thanks a lot, Mike, for your time, and good luck tonight.
Thanks very much, Craig. Appreciate it.
All right, head coach Mike Shallow joining us, and we'll be back with starting lineups. In tonight's tip, it is Kaukauna Kimberly in a sectional semifinal in Division I from Bayport High School as you watch Kaukauna basketball on Sports Faith YouTube. That's it. Hey, what time are we coming back here? And welcome back to our North Star Dental Group pregame show as we get set for Kaukauna and Kimberly. And now a message from the WIAA and Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Milk has been building champions for centuries. Why? Research shows that the real milk builds pregame muscle, and low-fat chocolate milk restores post-game muscle for athletes like few other beverages. That's why pro basketball players know they're going to need milk to fuel their performance. Learn inspiring stories at gonnaneedmilk.com. Brought to you by Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. And we want to thank our sponsors tonight, North Star Dental Group of Appleton and Sheboygan. And tonight's game brought to you by OSMS, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Specialists, and by Let Me Be Frank Productions. Go to meyertheater.org today to get your show tickets. And by Pfefferly Management, the largest full-service commercial property management company north of Milwaukee. And NAI Pfefferly, the commercial brokerage company that specializes in selling and leasing of commercial real estate, including office, retail, industrial, medical, investment, and land. And by PRN Home Health and Therapy, where they provide home health care and therapy services to patients throughout Wisconsin. They provide quality and compassionate care to all the patients they see, treating them like their own family. Visit prncares.com for more information. And by the Kaukauna Boys Hoops Club, where they support the Ghosts and wish the team good luck in tonight's game. The club supports basketball in Kaukauna from little dribblers all the way to the varsity players. By Pagoni's Pizza of Kaukauna. And by Three Brothers Family Restaurant, open Tuesday through Sunday. Breakfast served all day. Lunch and dinner. Carryouts available. 920-462-4014. 215 West Wisconsin Avenue in Kaukauna. Follow them on Facebook for their specials and much more. Tonight's game brought to you in part also by the Ashwaubenon Bowling Lanes, the Family Fun Center, 2929 Allied Street in Green Bay. And Joey D, let's talk about Kaukauna and their path as they earned the bye, of course, and they met up with another FVA team. There's 6 of them in their bracket, and they beat Appleton West comfortably. And then, of course, they knock off their nemesis, the Neenah Rockets, 63-54 in a game that they trailed by 3 points at the half.
Yeah, and just showing the guts, showing the experience when you get to this time of year. You see that a lot, and the way that they fought back in that second half to really take control, hitting 9 3-pointers in that one. Owning the boards once again. That's been Kaukauna basketball all year long. They did it in that game, coming from behind and taking that victory to take yet another regional championship.
And, of course, Keegan Van Kauenberg. We haven't really talked a lot about him, but we're going to see a lot of him tonight. And Kimberly saw a little bit too much of him the last time these two teams met. A school record 56, breaking Chris Morgan's single-game record of 52. And now Keegan's trying to catch Chris Morgan for second place all time. He needs 72 points to become the second all-time leading scorer behind Jordan McCabe.
It's video game numbers when you look at what both he and Andrew have been able to do against Kimberly this year. Over 100 points combined between the two of them, 34 rebounds, 11 block shots just for Andrew against Kimberly. So they definitely know each other very well. And, Keegan continues to climb the ladder in that points category.
Andrew Jensen, all-defensive team of the FVA and all-team, first team, along with Keegan Van Kauenberg, and now our national anthem. our national anthem from Bayport High School. A good crowd on hand. Kaukauna bought up almost 600 tickets pregame. Kimberly was a little bit less, so there is some room here. We're not completely full. As a sectional semi is about to get going. Kimberly is going to be in the white uniforms with some red and black trim. Kaukauna going to be in their dark black with orange trim. It'll be the Ghost being introduced first. It'll be their normal lineup. Brody McMullen, he'll wear number 0, 8 points a game, and he'll be joined by Caden Graff, a power forward, 11.5 points, 7.5 rebounds for the senior. And the big man in the middle, wearing number 5, it'll be Andrew Jensen, 17 points, 11 rebounds. And in the backcourt, Jonah Rurig will get his 23rd start of the year, 10 points, 47% three-point shooter, and their leading scorer and do everything backcourt player, it's Keegan Van Cowenberg, 24 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists for the first team all FVA candidate. And for the Papermakers, it's going to be Aaron Cullen, the 6-foot senior. He'll get the call along with Mikey Wilds, a 51% field goal shooter. And Landon Van Offren, their leading scorer, 17 points, almost 9 rebounds for the 6'4 senior. And it'll be Alex Krause, a 6'4 sophomore, 10.5 points per game. And rounding out the starting 5, 6'9 senior, number 44, Ben Grabner, 8 points, 5 rebounds, leads the team in blocks with 37 for interim coach Josh Hofstenberger. The Ghost, of course, coached by Mike Shallow in his 30th season at the helm. And Kaukauna gonna go left to right on your YouTube video stream tonight, and we're underway. And the number 1 seeded Kaukauna Ghost go on offense first.
You know, what's most impressive when you look at Kaukauna and their season so far, this 16-game win streak, but their 3 losses by a total of 14 points. That's it.
And they go right to the big man inside, shooting at 72% from the field. And that was a no-footer for Andrew Jensen to start this one off.
He likes playing Kimberly.
And here's an errant pass, almost thrown out of bounds, saved by Wilds. Aaron Cullen finds a cutting Van Offren to the rim for a layup. Good offensive start for both clubs.
Yeah, they're not afraid to attack this basket early on.
You can't leave Rohrig. He's a dangerous three-point shooter, and he got a shooter's roll. And off and running, the Ghost averaging 80 points a game.
Well, Jonah missed a couple of games, and they missed him during those. But, boy, it's good to have him back, especially this time of year.
Kimberly averages about 69 a game. The big fella, Grabner, steps way outside for the 3, and he's not able to come up with it. He will shoot it from out there. He's 20 for 45 coming in. Here's a guy that can shoot 3s and make 3s. Keegan Van Cowenberg dials up long distance, and he's off and running, and the Ghost up 6.
Well, we saw what he did against them the last time with 8 3-pointers, and he just continues to roll from beyond the arc.
Here's a straight-on jumper from inside the circle by Alex Krause. And early on, the Ghost have some momentum. Little no-look pass cross court, that time to Rohrig.
You see that a lot from Kaukauna. The assist numbers are unbelievable.
Jensen backing down, and he powers it in. Easy bucket over Van Offren that time, and you know Kaukauna going to pound that ball inside tonight.
Absolutely. Andrew is looking good here early on. There's been a couple of games where it takes him a little while to get going, but not in this one.
Cullen 3 is short. No. Offensive stick back is good by Ben Grabner. And we have a 30-second timeout with 54 remaining in the first half. We'll go to a 30-second timeout on the OSMS scoreboard. 10-4 early, Kaukauna. As we're going to keep it right here as Connor Olson joining us tonight, doing a nice job producing as we took a peek at that Last bucket by Kimberly as Grabner got the offensive rebound and stuck it back home. Good start here offensively, both teams.
We saw coming out of the timeout, some of the assistant coaches running out and talking with Andrew about that, trying to tell them to body up just a little bit more, use your elbows as much as the refs will let you.
It's going to be a physical basketball game. It already has been, and here's Jensen now. Van Kauenberg, they love running the two-man game. Here's Jensen. Boy, that's a tough running, flying shot. Caden Graff comes out of nowhere and takes it from Grabner, and they'll get a reset.
What a season Caden's having. We were talking about him before. Just his development this season has been unbelievable.
He only scored 40 points all of his junior year, and guess what? A little pump fake, and he got Grabner in the popcorn machine, and he put it up and in.
Ask and you shall receive, averaging about 12 points this year, about 8 rebounds. Found him open there, off the glass for 2.
Love it when we're talking about guys and then they produce. Here's a backdoor lob. Mikey Wilds got free, and he laid it up and in. Van Offeren with a good look.
Yeah, that's a great lob pass. Not too sure how he got that open.
Breakdown on defense. Wilds averages 13, leads the team in assists, almost 5 a game. 12-6 Kaukauna. Here's Van Kauenberg. He'll pull up right to the circle, and he buries another one. And when he gets going, Kimberly knows what can happen. He put up a 56 spot last time.
Well, they started to double team him and then backed off of it. You don't do that with Keegan. He'll do that little step back.
Here's a drive by Cullen. Might have got hit by Jensen. They play on, and the cleanup by Ben Grabner. And the big 6'9" post player comes up with a bucket, and now a turnover by McMullen. Steal by Grabner. Almost 10 turnovers a game for the Ghosts. Wilds on a elbow jumper is long, and Andrew Jensen owns the glass.
Yeah, a little bit offset on that jumper.
There's a leaner by Van Kauenberg. He was bothered by the defense of Wilds, who's got him right now. Keegan heading to UW Green Bay. Nice ball fake by Rohrig. Got Kraus to leave his feet. Here's a high ball screen. You can't leave it. You got to go over the top on Van Kauenberg, and that's about as bad as a miss you'll ever see out of Van Kauenberg.
Well, Coach Hoffensberger talked about how in that game that Keegan scored 50-plus, that Mikey just couldn't get around some of those screens, and that's how Keegan got a lot of points.
You can't go under it. And here's Wilds with a nice little stop-and-go pump fake, and he lays it up and in. He has 4 along with Ben Grabner's 4.
My favorite play in all the basketball, the shot fake.
Absolutely. Ball fake, head and shoulder fake. Good no look. McMullen, left corner pocket bang. Brody McMullen, he's had a tremendous senior year. He's shooting at 42% from distance.
Yeah, and is this right? He didn't score in the last game?
He did not score in the Neenah game in 21 minutes, mind you. And we have a foul here out on the floor, and it's going to be Graff. That caught my eye as I was preparing for this broadcast. How doesn't Brody McMullen score in 21 minutes?
Yeah, no points. He did have a blocked shot, but his first 3 points of this one coming at a good time, and they got a 7-point lead.
Did have a season-high 21 against Oshkosh North. That was a career high for him as well earlier this year. Here's a throw into Wilds. He's going to try to go over McMullen, and he left the jump hook short. Kaukauna trying to get to yet another sectional final. And a shot at a 5th state appearance. Graff backing down on Grabner. He's going to go up and under. Almost traveled, I think he did. Yeah, I was waiting for a whistle. That was a good call. His feet came down, and he hadn't gotten rid of the ball yet.
Our referees tonight, Steve Marszewski, Michael Tust, and Brett Kramer. They get the call for this sectional semifinal.
I did have a photoshopped up logo for that I didn't load. And there's an unload right there, you could say, by Andrew Jensen as he comes up with a big-time rejection, his 65th block.
His 12th against Kimberly this year.
Unbelievable. You go up against that kid, Jensen, and you're risking life and limb. Van Offeren now pivoting, almost traveling, flip it up with the left hand and a late whistle, and they're going to get Graff, and if it is, that's number 2.
Yeah.
It's a big foul right there on Caden Graff. I would imagine Mike Shallow now If he goes to the bench and he has a little word with the near side official, working him for that next call, of course. Landon Van Offeren leading this team in scoring. He's a 76% free throw shooter. Knocks down the pair. This team shoots it 72% from the stripe as a team. And Kaukauna very good as well. 71. Jensen soaring to the rim for an easy layup. He has an early 6. They have so many ways to score. This Kaukauna team can get you in a lot of different ways.
You give him any kind of lane, he's going to go right for the hoop.
Van Offeren mid-post, little show and tell, and Graff blocks it out of there. Caden having a great year defensively. That's 29 blocks for Graff.
I'll tell you what, him being left in there with those 2 fouls, those always kind of scare you a little bit, but that was all ball.
No doubt. He was honorable mention, just named in the FVA. Here's Grabner going to back down. Look at these 2 big bodies go at it. Grabner overlaid it against Jensen. Andrew did a nice job walling up Grabner that time.
That's what you pay to see, just a one-on-one performance like that.
McMullen like shooting fish in a barrel. Wide open, and he drops the hammer. What a look by Van Kauenberg to an open shooting McMullen.
He's done it all year long. The scoring is amazing, but the assist numbers are just crazy as well. He lights up every category.
5.5 a game. Beautiful take with the left hand by Aaron Cullen. I don't know how he squeezed that off with it. Andrew Jensen in the neighborhood.
Cullen 18 points in each of the first 2 matchups.
And Kauenberg drives around Wilds and gets to the rim. What a take, left baseline. 7 for Van Kauenberg. Kaukauna looks in really good rhythm right now offensively, up 10.
Yeah, they're scoring at will here.
Van Offeren trying to get a 3 ball to go from the right wing, and it comes up short. Graff rim running, and a lot of contact, but the ball's going to go off of Kimberly. But what a feed by Van Kauenberg again, as Graff just went right down the right rail that time, hard to the rim.
Well, we've seen a lot this year trying to score in transition. They push the basketball very well. They score a lot of points after a make or a miss.
Here's Graff now turning. Grabner doing a nice job holding his ground. Now Rohrig. Van Kauenberg in a direct traffic. Here comes a 2-man game. I can feel it. Here comes a ball screen. I can read this like a book. They run it to death. And they run it very well, I might add. Here's Jensen. Now he's going to go and set a ball screen. No, he tried to slip it. Jensen got held. Now Van Kauenberg almost lost the handle. Look at this. It's like a yo-yo. And he throws a dangerous pass, and it's intercepted and taken away by the Papermakers. Cullen going to fake the shot. Now feed Mikey Wilds. Grabner, the big fella, he will step back. Long on the 3. Van Offeren comes out of there with a rebound.
This is where you got to watch Caden. You don't want to get that 3rd.
Yeah, he can't. He's got 2, and oh my goodness, he played great defense. Playing with 2 fouls, that shows you the trust that Coach Shallow has in him.
Yeah, and the confidence that he has playing out there on that court.
Pull up baseline, 15-footer is good.
Man, it's so smooth. Every single shot that he makes and even misses, they're falling away and just off his fingertips, finding the bottom of the twine.
He's a great shooter, but I call him a scorer because he can do it in a lot of different ways. He has 9, and now here's Cullen getting to the rim again. He has 4. As one thing Kimberly has been able to do at times, Joey D, is they've been able to get into the paint. And Kauenberg, there's another tough fall away. My goodness gracious. You talk about a kid that says, get on my back, boys. We're going to go to Wisconsin Rapids potentially on Saturday.
He's looking at another 50-plus. That's what he's looking at.
Wow, that hoop is very large right now. Here's Wilds. Puts Graff in the popcorn machine. Not able to pull the trigger, though. Now Cullen has it. Kaukauna, both of these teams, very good man-to-man teams. These Kimberly kids are just built, aren't they? A couple of football players out there. They are just very physical high school athletes. Very impressive.
They work year-round at several different sports.
Cullen drops the 3, and I'll tell you what, Aaron Cullen, by the way, a couple of years ago, as a sophomore, had a big game against this Kaukauna team at home. a double overtime win, I believe that was for Kimberly. That was one of the better games we've covered. I think it was 2 years ago anyway. Grabner, he dials up long distance. And Mike Shallow is going to use a timeout as Kimberly on an 8-4 run with 8:06 remaining. We'll take it to a break on the OSMS scoreboard.
Pagoni's Pizza Inc. has been a premier pizza restaurant in the Kaukauna, Wisconsin area since 2007. At Pagoni's Pizza Inc., the #1 priority is providing excellent customer service. Pagoni's Pizza Inc. is well known for their high-quality food and friendly environment. We offer pizza, calzones, pasta, and much more. If you're looking for a friendly, local, and family-owned restaurant, stop by today at 320 East Ann Street in Kaukauna, Wisconsin.
Back at Bayport High School, Joey D alongside myself, Craig Bone on Sports Faith YouTube, Connor Olson, student producing here at Bayport tonight for us. Want to thank Chris Learman for setting that up and Connor for joining us.
That kid knows what he's doing over there, doesn't he?
Let's just say he knows technology and the broadcast software we're using. We'll leave it at that. Nice look, grab, and a two-handed flush by Andrew Jensen, and he has 8.
And once again, right out of a timeout. That's exactly what you want to see. Executed perfectly. Get it to the big guy.
Graff will average about 2 assists per game. Grabner around Jensen, used his body, and he overshot it off the glass too hard, and here come the Ghosts. 10-point lead it was, and it's going to be again, as Andrew Jensen with an early 10 points. And this is a very difficult team to stop. We know that. They have a lot of weapons. We've been talking about them all night.
They don't stay silent for long.
10-point lead got down to 6. A quick timeout, and we're right back to that 10-point margin for Kaukauna. Here's Van Offren down low against the freshman Schwalbach, who's checked in. And Jensen comes over to tip it off the glass to himself. As Tyler Schwalbach, the 6th man, in for Jonah Rohrig. Kimberly out there with their original starting 5. They don't go very deep. These two teams, not deep at all. Now Van Kallenberg, he wants to back in. Back on Kraus, turn fade from 10. No, came up short, and here come the Papermakers.
Really good defensively there by Kraus, all over him.
Cullen gonna go for another deep ball, and he is feeling it early. He has 10. Van Kallenberg with 11, Jensen with 10. Some unbelievable starts offensively. Jensen gonna power back down on Van Offren. He's doubled, so he has to give it up. 32-25, Kaukauna. Van Kallenberg, no look at the Schwalbach. The extra pass to Mullen. McMullen, on the 3, no good. Great ball movement that time for the Ghosts.
Again, the touch passes and then the quick shot.
And Tyler Schwalbach steps in front of the Grabner pass. Now rumbling as Jensen almost traveled. Out to Schwalbach, the lefty freshman. He drills the 3. When you can get a freshman in a spot like that come off the bench and knock it down, that's huge.
Makes you want to check your roster again. Is he a freshman?
He absolutely is. There's a 9 next to his name. He's really a sophomore, though. We're too deep into the season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Aaron Cullen, his 3rd triple. He has 13. He is absolutely stuck on automatic. And I'm looking at his season high, and it's 19.
So you got to find an answer
And
for
Van
him. There's the
Kallenberg.
answer.
There's always an answer, especially from 25. 14 for Van Kallenberg, and we got ourselves a shootout.
They don't even give us the time to talk about the last play yet, and they're already shooting again.
This is my kind of buckets right here. Up and
Yeah.
down, no shot clock needed. Colin, you better get on, Colin.
Well,
I'll tell you what, he is absolutely unconscious. His 4th triple, he's got 16.
I talked about video game numbers earlier. If this was a video game, the bottom of the net will be on fire.
My goodness gracious, some offensive production early out of everybody. McMullen, can he answer wide right? No. Tell you what, Kimberly's 12 and 13 it's not a 12 and 13 ball club right now, folks.
No, absolutely not. They are playing on top of their game right now.
Yeah, they're starting to close now. Graff is guarding Cullen. They cannot allow him to shoot the basketball. Grabner trying to go up and under on Jensen. Now he'll fade away from 10, and he made a tough turnaround jumper. He has 9 in the face of Andrew Jensen, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point ball game.
Showed his range earlier, and boy, can he play down in the paint too.
And Cohenberg got grabbed on the way in. I think it's Mikey Wilds, and it is his first.
That's actually the first team foul on Kimberly too. We're almost all the way through the first half here.
As we took a peek at that replay right there on that drive. So Grabner will take a seat. Keegan Plew and Rohrig back in for Kaukauna. Plew, a junior, out of a double team. Van Kauenberg with a beautiful ball shot fake, and he comes up empty from distance, and here come the Papermakers.
You don't see him miss too many of those.
Absolutely not. Wilds on the drive, flying to his right and shooting it over his left shoulder. And the Kimberly Papermakers are not blinking, Joey D, after being down by 10 twice.
They are going head-to-head here, and timeout called.
And we're going to send it to a quick 30 with 3:20 remaining in a good one. 38-35, Ghosts in the lead. You're watching Ghosts postseason basketball on Sports Faith YouTube.
Step into a world of excitement at Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley, your home for family fun in Green Bay. Since 1976, our locally owned and operated business has been Green Bay's go-to destination for fun enthusiasts.
Brace yourself for a jaw-dropping experience with 60 lanes, including regular bowling and newly updated Cosmic Bowling. Feel the thrill as our Unreal Bowling takes excitement to the next level. Create unforgettable memories with your family at Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley.
Coming. Back at Bayport High School, I'm Craig Bone, Joey D to my left, Connor Olson producing to my right. And Joey D, a couple of 10-point leads are almost extinguished. Kimberly climbs back in, down 3.
Well, they're staying with their game, the inside out. They're muscling down low. They're finding the outside shot with Colin, and they're sticking around.
It's a good ball game. A lot of offense if you like offense. There's a 2-man game. Jensen's going to get called for a charge. That was a beautiful defensive step in by, I believe it was Van Offren, and Andrew Jensen picks up his first.
Yeah, referee was right there, and just that little lower of the shoulder. Fander would have went straight up in a different situation, but he lowered the shoulder just enough to have the call.
Just over 3 minutes remaining in a sectional semi. Van Offren with a drive and a kick to a wide open lefty. And Keegan Plew knocks down to 3, and we're tied.
Nobody on him. He was wide open. Somebody left him free.
I believe that's a 10-2 run, if I'm not mistaken. It was 36-26, I thought. Trying to keep track of the runs off the top of my head here. Or it was 34-24 possibly. Either way, we're knotted at 38. Jensen powers it up with the right hand off the glass. His 6th field goal.
You knew we wouldn't be tied for too long. Get it down low.
Very impressed with this Kimberly team and how they've come out. Both of the earlier games, Kaukauna handled them fairly comfortably in both games, even though the most recent, was close at halftime, I believe. Van Offren, a spin. Nice spin off of Rohrig, but he misses the reverse spinner. And now Kaukauna trying to regain that momentum they had. Inside of 2 minutes remaining. Van Kauenberg better watch it. Give me a 5-second call. That was getting very close. The Kimberly bench wanted it, and they didn't get it.
That might have been about 6.5.
Oh, it was a long 5. Caden Graff jump stops it. He's against Kraus, has to refeed out to the corner. Rohrig. The Kimberly students getting into it. Van Kauenberg silences them with another triple.
Yeah, he turned around and took a look at Colin.
17 for Van Kauenberg. A little 5-0 run since the timeout. 5 minutes remaining in the second. 38-35, Ghosts in the lead. You're watching Ghosts postseason basketball on Sports Faith YouTube. Boy, this has been everything and a little bit more than what we anticipated. I think this is fun basketball tonight. Aaron Cullen, 4 triples, has 16 for the Papermakers, and an up and in and an and one. And Keegan Plew, the junior, has come off the bench and really given the Papermakers a spark.
He has. That last possession he passed up. Another shot, boy. He's got a good touch and showing the drive that time, drawing the foul. The old-fashioned three-point attempt here.
Plew's high for the season, 12, had 9 on 4-for-4 field goal shooting against Appleton North. And 5 points the last time these two teams met. So the lefty really playing well off the bench, not able to make the free throw.
And the first matchup, he had 11 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. He played well in their first matchup.
Big time spark as now Jensen trying to clear out, and boy, they're going to get a holding on Van Offeren. I'll tell you what, there was a lot going back and forth right there, and Van Offeren came up on the short end of it.
You hear some of the boo birds that are coming out and flying around. The referees were kind of letting him get away with it early on, but not that time.
The Kimberly faithful not liking that whistle as we tick inside of 50 seconds. See what the strategy is here. Kaukauna up 3 in a high-scoring first half. And Cullenberg is going to be wide right. Ball knocked out of bounds, and that was a good call. That was off of Cullen. They got that one right.
They tried to sell it.
They sure did. Everybody likes to point the other way, just like when there's a fumble in football, right?
Yeah.
It's our ball.
Might as well try.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, I guess, right?
That's pretty clear.
Rory going to throw it into McMullen. Brody going to get the handoff. Jonah Rorig with an early 3-point bucket. Graff inside playing with 2 fouls. And he goes right at the defender. And that is Aiden Lam who's checked into the ball game. And they like that matchup as Graff converts. He has 4.
I like how he was using his body, turning sideways, kept the dribble alive, and then went hard to the hoop.
Inside of 10 seconds remaining. Here is Wilds giving it to Cullen, and he almost fumbled it out of bounds with 2, with 1. Teardrop floater, no, by Wilds as it rims off at the buzzer. And we have come to the end of a very entertaining Division I sectional semifinal. It's Kaukauna and Kimberly tonight from Bayport High School as Kaukauna at the half on the OSMS scoreboard. They lead at 45-40 as you watch Ghosts basketball on.
Faced with a tough healthcare decision, you've been given a diagnosis and treatment options, but you're still not comfortable with the plan. It may be time to get another opinion. I'm Dr. Jason Klein, orthopedic surgeon and physician owner at OSMS. No matter what you're questioning, a second opinion can give you peace of mind. OSMS is doctor-owned and patient-focused, and we're here to help you understand your options so you can stay in charge of your health. Learn more at askforosms.com.
Wait, how many times do I have to come back?
Personal foul. Too many appointments. You should have gone to North Star Dental.
Dr. Pete and his team have experience, and with today's technology, can do more dentistry in just one visit.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pete Haley from North Star Dental, and dental implants should last a lifetime. Whether you need a single tooth replacement or a full mouth reconstruction, you can get it all done here under one roof.
North Star Dental, changing your life by changing your smile.
Foods and Diamonds and Gold present Let Me Be Frank's all-new comedy musical, The King of Krakow, April 3rd through April 19th at the Maya Theater. This mob-based show features songs from the 1980s. Watch as the gang, the Sha-Na-Nanos, want to take over some turf from the King of Krakow. A ringer is sent in to make sure it happens. For tickets, go to mayatheater.org or call Ticketstar at 920-494-3401. It's the
Step into a world of excitement at Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley, your home for family fun in Green Bay. Since 1976, our locally owned and operated business has been Green Bay's go-to destination for fun enthusiasts.
Brace yourself for a jaw-dropping experience with 60 lanes, including regular bowling and newly updated Cosmic Bowling. Feel the thrill as our Unreal Bowling takes excitement to the next level. Create unforgettable memories with your family at Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley.
That was 4. Welcome back to Bayport High School. Craig Bone alongside Joey D and producer Connor Olson tonight. And we just witnessed a very entertaining first half of basketball as we take a look at first half statistics. 45-40 is your count, as this was a shootout and the shooting percentages do not lie. Joey D, these guys are on absolute fire. Kimberly, 50% from the field. Kaukauna even better, 19 of 29 for 65%. It has all been clicking.
Yeah, both sides shooting the ball and not afraid to either. Not afraid to drive inside. We haven't seen a lot of free throws. In fact, Kaukauna did not shoot a free throw in that first half, but hey, they really didn't need to. Usually you'll see a couple of them, though, with the big guys and the way they like to attack the hoop, but no free throws for Kaukauna in that first half, and I believe Kimberly only shot 2. They made them both off the hand of Van Offeren, so not a lot of free throws, but they're getting it done from downtown, both teams are.
7 of 13 from distance for the Ghost, and 6 of 10 for Kimberly, and it was Aaron Cullen knocking down 4 of those 6, and he really got into a rhythm in this first half.
Yeah, it seemed like he couldn't miss there for a while.
No, he was absolutely sensational. Rebounding the basketball, Kaukauna with a 16-11 edge, but really overall, Kaukauna with a couple of 10-point leads in this first half. But Kimberly really did not blink. These are very good athletes, and they have been playing very good basketball over the last 4 and specifically the last 3 games that they've won in a row.
Yeah, absolutely, and you saw it out here. They're just kind of playing free, and they know what's at stake here. I mean, Coach Hoffensberger, in only his 5th game as the head coach after taking over, he's just kind of letting them go out there and play. And they're running. The execution's been unbelievable. And they're showing it out there. They're just out there and run around playing their ball. And it doesn't matter what they're down by. I mean, they've been attacking the three-pointers and going right inside against the towers and all that, and they're hanging right in there.
Let's take a look at some individual statistics in this first half for Kimberly. They were led by the aforementioned Aaron Cullen with 16 points, 9 from Ben Grabner, 6 from Mikey Wilds, 5 from Keegan Plew, who came off the bench with a nice spark. And Van Offeren, Landon Van Offeren, their leading scorer on the season. He finishes with 4 points in this first half for the Papermakers. And for the Kaukauna Galloping Ghosts, of course, it was Keegan Van Kellenberg, their leading scorer, at 24 points a game. He had 17. 12 from Andrew Jensen on 6 field goals, 6 from Brody McMullen, 4 from Caden Graff. He did play most of that first half with 2 fouls. And Tyler Schwalbach and Jonah Rohrig with 3 points each in the first half for their total of 45 points. And I think if you are either one of these teams, you're pretty happy with the offense. Now the question is, who's going to come up with enough defensive stops to win this game and move on?
Exactly. Both coaches will tell you. I mean, that's where everything starts, is on the defensive end. Make those stops, turn those into points. But, you know, just thinking about it, you say the words halftime adjustments. I don't know exactly what either team really has to do just to keep on doing what they're doing. I'm trying to come up with something. Keep spreading the court if you're both teams. Set those screens. If you're Kaukauna, of course, find Van Collenberg. Find the hot hand in Cullen for Kimberly. So not a lot of adjusting to actually do here at halftime. Man, we are in for a treat in these next 18-plus minutes.
taking a look at some individual shooting stats. Keegan Van Couwenberg, those 17 points were done on 7 of 13 shooting, 3 of 7 from downtown. And Andrew Jensen getting some really close looks inside. His 12 points were scored on 6 field goals, and I'm not so sure it was about maybe a total of 12 feet in total shots on those 6 made field goals, as he got some unbelievable position early on in this ballgame.
I like his aggressiveness early on, because there have been a couple of games where it's like, wait a minute, why isn't he trying to be a little bit more in control? We saw early on in this one that he had one slam dunk whenever he got wide open. Almost had another one. But yeah, underneath the rim is where he does his best job. And, that inside-out game, they know what they're doing. And I think he's going to get a lot more close looks this second half.
Pretty interesting number here. Each team scored 20 points in the paint. So kids are getting to the rim. And we talked about Andrew Jensen, but Kimberly off the dribble. I think that's one thing that Kaukauna is probably going to want to clean up. I thought off the dribble, Kimberly got to the rim a few too many times for Coach Shallow's liking.
Yeah, they're setting them up perfectly, too, with some of them screens out front and then the quickness. That first step, they're looking to go to the hoop every single time that they can, and especially with a guy like Graff with those 2 early fouls. You saw him have to back off a time or two, and so I expect the aggressiveness to be up just a little bit here in this second half.
Graff, Jensen, Van Couwenberg, all 18 minutes, and I'm going to make a prediction unless there's foul trouble, and Caden Graff does have 2. I got a feeling all 3 of those guys might play this entire game.
Oh, absolutely. They've been doing it all season long. They're riding their shoulders, and hey, it's March basketball. It's all or nothing now.
Jensen averages 31 minutes a game. Van Couwenberg 31, Rohrig 30, Graff 27. So these guys are used to playing a lot of minutes, and both of these teams literally are not very deep. We talked about the depth of both these teams. We're talking 7 guys, maybe 8 deep, and that's all you're going to see, as Kimberly did play 7 guys in the first half. And for the Ghosts, they ended up having Tyler Schwalbach, their 6th man, come into the ball game, but that was it. It was a 6-man crew for the Ghosts in the first half.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of huffing and puffing here, but they're going to give it their all.
They have all summer to rest, correct?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Here we go, underway second half. Kaukauna with a 5-point lead, led by 10 a couple of different times in that first half. But Kimberly every time had an answer. Alex Krause backing down on Rohrig, can't pull it.
Can't tell you how big the first possession of a second half is.
Absolutely, a reverse left-handed tough spinner by Mikey Wilds comes up short. High degree of difficulty. Now Van Couwenberg, no looks it to the right wing. Jonah wanted to pull the trigger, he couldn't. Now Van Couwenberg coming off a curl there. So much great movement out of this Ghost team. They're just in sync. This team has a lot of experience with each other. Now Van Couwenberg off of a Graff screen, comes up long on that 3. Opening minute of the second half. If you haven't subscribed to Sports Faith YouTube TV, please click the button and you'll get notified when we go live. And if Kaukauna wins, we're going to be live in Wisconsin Rapids. At least that's where it's scheduled. Jump hook, Grabner, no, and an ice cold start here, Joey D, by both teams.
Yeah, it's who's going to crack first. They both had their good chances.
And Couwenberg with a little floater comes up empty.
Yeah, he claps his own hands after that one. That one should have been 2 for him.
And to the bucket, Mikey Wilds. He has 8. Van Couwenberg going to get to the rim, dump at the Graff. Wide open, Jonah Rohrig, high arcing 3 is short, no good.
Well, Caden should have turned around. He could have, he was right there for 2. Passed it up. Not a bad shot, though.
No, good look to Rohrig, who had nobody near him. Here's a bounce feed inside, and we're going to get a hold, and that's Graff's 3rd. Yep. And the bench now has to make a decision as Caden Graff picks up number 3.
Well, Coach Shallow picks up the water bottle, takes a big swig. I think he's going to leave him in there.
I believe he is. By the way, Kaukauna with 4 turnovers in the first half. I have 0 for Kimberly, believe it or not. And Cullen continues his hot streak, and we're knotted at 45. Aaron Cullen with 19 in this game already. That's his season high. He just matched it. Now Jensen going to square up on Van Offren. Jonah on the left-handed dribble handoff. Now Graff fakes the handoff. Wants to go on Grabner. Trying to go underneath. Got blocked. Oh, and they're going to call a foul as Grabner hit Graff, and Caden will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, you hand the hand up, and again, you're going to hear some boo birds flying around, but I heard some slap of the wrist.
Looked like a good call.
Now the first free throw for Kaukauna in the basketball game.
A 71% team shooting, free throw shooting team, I should say, as Graff comes up empty there. And he's a 72% shooter from the stripe, Graff is. So Kimberly comes out, scores the first 5. And that one is in. 5 points for Graff, and here comes Tyler Schwalbach, and they're going to sit Graff with that 3 fouls. Good substitution there. I would say give him a few minutes at least.
Yeah, it takes a little size away, but let's sit him for just a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, you got to protect him here, no question about it. So now Kaukauna gets a little smaller. Schwalbach trying to guard Van Offren, and Van Offren dribbled it off his foot. Turnover, Kimberly. They want to go to Van Offren, their leading scorer, against the freshman Schwalbach.
And you mentioned the lack of turnovers. I did have 1 for Kimberly in the first, 2 for Kaukauna in the first, so only the 4th total turnover unofficially.
Wow, so our numbers might have been a little bit off from the bench, but pretty close. Either way, a pretty clean basketball game. First half, Jensen gets a little shove in the back from Grabner. Now Schwalbach, the lefty freshman, going to try to get to the rim, and he threw it away right to Alex Kraus. Turnover there. Kraus spinning, whirling dervish, throw it up. Very difficult shot. The ball tipped out. Wilds picks it up, and now Van Offren's got a look, and that one was well short. And the offense is suddenly, things are starting to even out. You knew the shooting wasn't going to continue like it was.
Yeah, just a little off-centered on that one.
And Cowenberg gets the refeed now from Jensen. There's that 2-man game into the corner. McMullen couldn't throw up the 3. Kimberly's defense right now in everybody's face. McMullen drop down, bounce feed. Who was it off of? They're going to say off of McMullen. And another turnover back-to-back for Kaukauna.
Yeah, we need to not talk about it, huh?
No doubt about that.
As soon as we did, back-to-back for Kaukauna, and now Kimberly a chance to take the lead.
We jinx everything. Free throws, you name it. Turnovers. Cullen for the lead. He made it. My goodness gracious. Aaron Cullen is absolutely unconscious. His 6th triple. He's got 22, a career high. Or near a career high. I know he had a big game against Kaukauna a couple years ago. Schwalbach to Jensen, out to McMullen. 3 ball is long. And the momentum right now is wearing red and white with a little black. Cullen, did he get tied up? And he did. What a play by McMullen. Arrow says Kaukauna. And Caden Graff back in after a short 2-minute rest.
Well, he held it a little close to his body, and that allowed the Kaukauna, there were a couple of them that were there to be able to reach in, get a hand on it. Ref was right there to call it quickly.
First lead of the game for the Papermakers. They trailed by 10 a couple of times in the first half. Van Cowenberg for the lead is long. And the rebound was long to Cullen.
They've yet to make a field goal in this second half. Very uncharacteristic of Kaukauna.
1 free throw, and here's a steal, and look out below. Graff goes up, and he hammers it down with a right hand.
How about the reverse jinx, huh? Just say, where's the field goals? And we saw that one with emphasis.
That is a big play by Caden Graff ties it up on the right-handed sledgehammer, and here we go. 12:50 remaining. These two teams trying to advance to Wisconsin Rapids High School, Lincoln High School on Saturday. Fade away, Mikey Wilds is off, and the ball deflected to Graff. See if Kaukauna can get a little surge. They can hit you with a big run. Two-man game to Graff, leaning, banking, layup good. That is how you run a pick and roll, my friends.
Absolutely, and get it to the hot hand.
A little spurt by the Ghosts, and they're back up 2. Grabner took a peek at the rim from downtown. Now Wilds is going to go on Graff, and Graff's got to take it easy. And that's a smart play by a veteran, Mikey Wilds, as he knows Graff has those 3 fouls.
Yeah, nobody was there to help. He flew right by him, and Caden could just watch.
And there was no weak side help. Now Van Kallenberg going to go off a screen and pop it straight on. Snap it off and drill it. His 4th triple. He's got 20.
Well, he knew he wouldn't stay cool for very long. He's going to shoot a lot more of those than this one.
No question about that. Back to a 3-point lead as rumbling to the rack. Tyler Schwalbach could not stay with Ben Grabner, and the 6'9" big man puts it down and 1. And Grabner with the 3-point play, and we are knotted at 53 as we have a full timeout on the OSMS scoreboard. 11:35 remaining. Tied at 53. You're watching Ghost Basketball on Sports Faith YouTube.
Pagoni's Pizza Inc. has been a premier pizza restaurant in the Kaukauna, Wisconsin area since 2007. At Pagoni's Pizza Inc., the #1 priority is providing excellent customer service. Pagoni's Pizza Inc. is well known for their high-quality food and friendly environment. We offer pizza, calzones, pasta, and much more. If you're looking for a friendly, local, and family-owned restaurant, stop by today at 320 East Ann Street in Kaukauna, Wisconsin.
Or Rapids. We are back at Bayport High School alongside Joey D. I'm Craig Bone. Connor Olson, student producing tonight here at Bayport. What year again? Sophomore? There you go. Connor Olson doing a great job delivering replays, our scoreboard tonight.
Even had the flag up during the anthem. How about that?
That was very
Nice
patriotic. We appreciate that. And we appreciate this game right now. 53 all. We got a dandy going on here in Division I.
And I think both teams really needed that timeout, too. You started to see both teams. We talked about how they don't go very deep.
Absolutely.
Just a little breather here as we approach the halfway mark of this second half.
No question, timeouts are going to be key. Van Kallenberg's not going to come out of this game. Jensen probably will not. Graff only did because he has 3 fouls. And Van Kallenberg straight on. He knocks it down. How about 23 for Van Kallenberg?
Came out a little shy in this second half, but boy, I tell you what, he wants that basketball.
Yeah, he don't want his career to end quite yet. Here's a pump fake and a reverse layup. Boy, that's a tough look. Mikey Wilds with a dozen. Boy, there are answers tonight that there isn't even questions for out of both of these offenses. And speaking of that, Van Kallenberg says, boys, get on my back because I am stuck on automatic. He's got 26.
He's pointing at himself. He's pumping that fist. He is fired up.
Alex Kraus traveled and dragged the pivot foot. Boy, when Keegan gets in a zone, he is mentally about as strong as any basketball player we've seen in recent times.
Yeah, and we definitely saw it in the last matchup with these two teams with that 56 points. I mean, once a guy gets going, especially a guy of this talent, he's almost unstoppable. He really is. See if he can do it again here on this possession.
You have to get the ball out of his hands if you're Kimberly, and there they did. They attacked him on a double team. He was able to find Graff. Leaping leaner too hard, and you know what? You got to make somebody else beat you right now and not 25.
Yeah, they came out to double him. Very wise.
Yep, get the ball out of his hands. Wilds turning, spinning, fadeaway jumper from 12. is up and good. Wilds, talked to Coach Shallow about him this morning on the pregame show. Love his game, 14 for Wilds.
Well, they're spreading the offense again.
2-point lead for Kaukauna. And a hold in the post.
Teofilo into the game.
Teofilo is into the game indeed. A 6'5" senior center, some more size.
Yeah, open again.
And he left it short. Van Kauenberg, even the misses look good. They really do. Now Kaukauna looking for a tie, maybe a lead. Wilds, pull-up jumper over Graff, and he drilled it. Mikey Wilds is really stepping up. He has 16, and we're tied.
Yeah, you got to find an answer for him when he gets the ball in his hands.
Here's a ball tipped and stolen by Wilds. Oh, what a beautiful bounce feed. Kraus fumbled it. But now Cullen lets Graff go by. 3-0. Jensen clears a big rebound. Oh, this is fun, folks. It don't get much better than this. This one might come down to the last possession.
Oh, yeah.
Van Kauenberg, no look, left-handed pass. McMullen off on the three, and here come the Papermakers. They want to run. Wilds crosses over on Rohrig. Turn, jump hook in the mid-post, and that comes up empty. Mike Shallow calling out a half-court set right here. Rohrig's going to take it and run the point. Down to 8.5 minutes remaining. They want to go inside. I think this is a good idea. Turn, Jensen's doubled if he can find somebody, and he threw it away, and he threw it to Cullen. Cullen got bumped before the shot. I thought they were going to call the foul earlier, but it is going to be a two-shot foul.
Well, that was all set up on the defensive end by Kimberly. The help defense, Jake Teofilo coming over, getting a hand on that basketball, forcing that turnover, and could turn into two here.
McMullen picks up his first. Right now, Kimberly not afraid to get into a transition game with the Ghosts. What some offensive figures here we have. 23 for Cullen. 16 for Wilds. 12 for Grabner.
Cullen a 73% free throw shooter on the season.
And
of course,
we did it again.
My turn.
It happens. Well, the way he's looked tonight, Aaron Cullen, you don't expect him to miss anything. He's been phenomenal. No look, inside feed, Van Kauenberg to Jensen. They really want to focus on getting Andrew Jensen that ball on these last two possessions. That's been the focus.
That's his first bucket of this second half, not his last.
Kaukauna back up one. Teofilo with a long three, and the long rebound comes off. And another reset for Kimberly. 5 offensive rebounds in the first half for the Papermakers. Van Offeren refeeds Cullen, and boy, oh boy. He had a game like this a couple years ago. I mentioned it in an overtime matchup at Kimberly. And the Papermakers back up. Jensen trying to tie it. Counted and one. A slip to the rim. And Van Kauenberg found Jensen for the and one. Teofilo whistled for his second. Have you ever seen a game with so many answers? It is back and forth we go.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this was a 10-point game at one point in the first half. They've just been exchanging back and forth, and the lead changes galore. We might have another one right here.
Unbelievable basketball game. Kaukauna with a couple of casual, I'll call them 10-point leads. 17 now for Jensen.
5 straight after not scoring up until that point here in the second half.
And Kaukauna has settled into a zone here. Looks like a 1-3-1 with Van Kauenberg on top. So they're going to give Kimberly a little bit different look. Keegan Plew into the ball game for Kimberly. Plew had 5 points off the bench in the first half. I like the change up on defense just to give Kimberly a little bit different look. I don't think Mike was necessarily happy with his man-to-man defense. Yeah. So let's go 1-3-1 with Rohrig, running the baseline. Plouffe for a lead and a miss. Offensive rebound. Van Offren's got to go up with a left hand over Graf. Boy, what patience by Van Offren. His first 2 of the second half. He has 6. And it's a 65-64 Kimberly lead.
Well, it wasn't just over Graf. There were 3 Kaukauna players right there. Very impressive for Van Offren.
Schwalbach with a nice ball fake. Jensen feed Graf out to Van Kauwenberg. What ball movement? And Van Kauwenberg comes up well short. Kraus dialing up long distance. And Kimberly has been fantastic from downtown. They were 6 of 10 in the first half.
Right in front of his own student section, and a 4-point lead. I believe their largest of the contest for Kimberly after being down by 10.
I was just going to say that. That is their largest lead. Now Jensen's doubled, and he's bumped and held. I thought that was a good call, Joey D. There was a lot of white shirts all over him. And they're going to give it to Van Offren, number 2 on him. Team foul number 4 on the Papermakers.
Now they'll put the size back in. A good job from Teofilo, though, man. He's going to get high fives galore coming off of the bench there.
Those are valuable bench minutes that do not go overlooked. But Grabner back on the floor. Kaukauna needs a bucket, down 4 suddenly. We talked about beating a team 3 times in 1 year. Not an easy task, especially in the FBA. And now we're going to get a hold out high, and I think it's Grabner, and it will be, and hits number 2 on Grabner. Team foul number 5.
They called Kraus on that one on the reach around. It could have been Grabner, but the official said 3-3 and not 4-4. So that's a first on Alex, the 5th team foul. I guess it could have been on either one.
Take your pick. Kaukauna trailing by their largest
They need a bucket
deficit. Here. They do, and Schwalbach turns it over on a travel. My goodness, this Kimberly team, they have come to play.
And forcing the turnovers. Unofficially, I got 5 in this second half on Kaukauna. And we're getting to crunch time here. You cannot give this Kimberly basketball team any extra chances.
82-63 on their home court. Kaukauna beat Kimberly the first time, and then, of course, 98-79, the Van Kauwenberg 56-point game. But none of that matters right now. Mikey Wild straight on, and my goodness. Kimberly, biggest lead now of 7, and Mike Shallow needs a timeout. And it's going to be a full, we'll step aside, 71-64. Kimberly in the lead. Back with more. You're watching Ghost Basketball on Sports Faith YouTube.
Foods and Diamonds and Gold present Let Me Be Frank's all-new comedy musical, The King of Krakow. April 3rd through April 19th at the Maya Theater. This mob-based show features songs from the 1980s. Watch as the gang, the Sha-Na-Na-Nos, want to take over some turf from the King of Krakow. A ringer is sent in to make sure it happens. For tickets, go to mayatheater.org or call Ticketstar at 920-494-3401. It's the
Back at Bayport High School, Joey D alongside. I'm Craig Bone. Connor Olson producing. And I don't think there's any doubt, Joe, this is the best game Kimberly's played all year. They are absolutely on fire. They have made 11 triples, 5 in this half. They were 6 of 10 in the first half. And Kaukauna looking up at a 7-point deficit with 5:08 remaining.
They've got an uphill battle here. Plenty of time. I think that's what Coach Shallow is saying in this timeout. We can't get out of our game here. It is only 7 points, but they got to get a score here and not another turnover like this.
And I think it's on Van Kauwenberg.
Keegan.
Yes.
That's his first, only the 3rd team foul here, but they're getting him on the off-ball screen there. And Coach Shallow wants an explanation. He's still getting one.
My goodness. This is amazing effort out of Kimberly right now. I mean, we knew they had athletes. People look at the record and think, 12 and 13. They got an interim coach stepping in, an assistant. Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Hoffensberger has these kids motivated tonight.
Yeah, you throw all that out. They're here for a reason.
They want to move on to a sectional final. Here's Grabner now. He's got the small Rohrig on him. Going to back him down, I would think. He should be able to turn and score. He might have took some extra steps, but no. It was just a long pivot, and he missed the easy look.
How about Jonah staying with him step for step? Good job.
That was tough. Van Kauenberg gets rejected. Tough to go over that 6'9" body, Grabner.
Yeah, 37 block shots coming into this one for Grabner. Showing his size, 6'9" there. He took control.
No reason to panic. Plenty of time. 4 1/4 remaining. But they need a hoop, down 7. Here's Jensen now. Going to back on. He's got single coverage. Van Offeren, but he feeds McMullen. And he's been a little bit off on the 3 ball. And that one comes off short. As McMullen was 2 for 4 in the first half. But he's missed his last 2 here. Now Rohrig picks up a little bit of a frustration bump out on top on Mikey Wilds. That's Rohrig's first.
Yeah, Jonah was step for step with him that time. Mikey dribbled right around him and got the little bump. That's only the 15th foul now on Kaukauna.
I look back at those 10-point leads in the first half by Kaukauna, and I almost wonder if it was a little bit too easy to get out in front by 10. I don't think they relaxed a whole lot, Joe. I think this is just about Kimberly's hot shooting, as we're going to keep it right here. And we have a timeout, and we want to thank our great sponsors once again. North Star Dental Group, our pregame show sponsor. And tonight's game brought to you by OSMS and also by Let Me Be Frank Productions. Go to meyertheater.org for show tickets today. And by Pfefferly Management, the largest full-service commercial property management company north of Milwaukee, where they offer in-house services, including certified HVAC, electrical, plumbing, building maintenance, lawn care, and snow removal. And NAI Pfefferly, the brokerage company, the commercial brokerage company that specializes in selling and leasing of commercial real estate. NAI Pfefferly has offices in Appleton, Green Bay, Wausau, and Sheboygan with 20 licensed real estate advisors. And tonight's game brought to you in part by PRN Home Health and Therapy. Go to prncares.com for more information. And by the Kaukauna Boys Hoops Club, where they support basketball in Kaukauna from little dribblers all the way to the varsity players. And by Pogoni's Pizza of Kaukauna, and also Three Brothers Family Restaurant, 215 West Wisconsin Avenue in Kaukauna. And also by Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley, the Family Fun Center. So the Ghosts down 7. Largest deficit, and now Van Offeren got poked in the face, and it's going to be graph number 4. It was definitely inadvertent, but there was a reach in, and Van Offeren reached for his eye, and the whistle blew. Now Graf playing with 4. Van Offeren having trouble getting it in, finally does. See how aggressive Kimberly goes here, up 7. Will they?
Yeah, now they'll weave it.
McMullen fell down there, and now Kaukauna starting to chase. And there's a dangerous pass, almost intercepted by Jensen, and somehow Kimberly comes out of there with it. Very fortunate there.
Yeah, now time on Kimberly. The clock is on Kimberly's side here. If they can, and each foul from here on out, they'll head to the free throw line.
Kaukauna got a guard against a backdoor cut, and there's an errant turnover. And sometimes, Joe, when you slow down your offense and you have all the momentum, sometimes it works against you.
Right. They had a couple of opportunities to head into the hoop like they had for the entire game up until now, and an unforced turnover. See if Kaukauna can take advantage. Here we go.
Rumbling Jensen to the rim. Count it! Oh, my goodness, what a tough shot. Ooh. Andrew Jensen goes flat on his back. I'm not sure how that ball went, and it hit front of the rim, and a shooter's roll, we'll call it.
He didn't get hit real hard. The floor hit him harder. He's, slowly to catch his breath, and they have to wipe some stuff up there because he was on the floor for a couple of seconds. And, yeah, how that one went through. And that could be a little turnaround that they need here if he can knock this down.
looking for his 20th point. Every point big right now. And he got it. And all of a sudden now, that's 7 down to 4. Tyler Schwalbach in for Rohrig. And Kaukauna going to pick up. I would assume they're going to trap the ball hard here, Joe, and they got to cover the backcourt and make sure Kimberly doesn't beat him for a layup. Here's Cullen now. Jensen, and he threw it away. Van Kauenberg, no look feed Jensen. He slams it with 2 hands. And it's a 2-point ball game. A big turnover, and now 3-on-2 the other way. Van Offren, bounce feed Grabner. Oh, and Caden Graff. Oh, there was a lot of contact there, my friend. They're going to say blocked out of bounds. I think Caden Graff just fouled for the 5th time, and they didn't call it.
Yeah, he might have got away with it.
He got somebody there, and Kaukauna might have got a break.
Well, the refs were in transition themselves and not able to get back and get a real clear look at it.
5 points in a row by Kaukauna. Things getting a little dicey for the Papermakers, down to 2:30 remaining. McMullen almost took it away from Cullen. Now Cullen flies to the rim, and he laid it up and in.
Saw the baseline, and he took it all the way and used that backboard. That was pretty.
Boy, that's a crowd silencer for the time being right there. Back up 4, Kimberly. Now Van Kauenberg on the right-handed yo-yo dribble. Schwalbach, the freshman. Van Kauenberg says, I need the rock. Fadeaway 17, oh yeah.
And that's why.
Money. We're back down to a 2. Cullen up the Wilds, he'll float it into front court. Van Offren. Kraus thought about a 3, and we're gonna get a timeout. 49 remaining. Kimberly up 2, and they've kind of slowed it down on a couple of possessions. And you wonder if that took a little bit of momentum, but really, a big turnover a moment ago, a steal by Van Kauenberg and the jam by Jensen. And Jensen also had the and one. So big play is being made by big players right now.
Well, that will also fire you up on the defensive end, and that's exactly what we saw because they start. You said the word momentum a while ago. They started to build it right back after that foul and the free throw make. And then the quick turnover and the slam. And then defensively, I mean, they were up in their face, using the baseline as another defender right down there. That was a wise timeout called by Kimberly to not only set up a play, but also they were in a lot of trouble there. The defense has really stepped it up. They're going to need it again here in this final minute 49.
You remember that block by Graff, too, playing with 4 fouls. And now Kraus is going to throw it dangerously high to Cullen, and McMullen all over him. Now Brady, they want to follow the big guy. It looked like they were trying to foul, but they don't. Each team with 6. The next one will be 1-1. Kimberly playing a little keep away. Now Kraus is trapped, and we're going to get a reach in. It'll be a 1-1. And it's going to be McMullen with his 2nd. You talk about attack defensively right now. Kaukauna in desperation mode.
Well, it's a situation where you didn't need the foul just yet. Keep that pressure up. Hope that you don't get called, but the referee was right there.
Kraus, a 61% free throw shooter. A huge 1-1. 1:33 remaining. And Kraus calmly knocks it down, the sophomore. And this is a bigger one even still to make it a 2-possession game. Plenty of time. Off! And a big miss.
You say it every game, partner. Go ahead and say it again. It's going to come down to what?
The last possession.
Free throws.
And that too.
Yeah.
Van Kauenberg now going to get a handoff from Jensen. They're not going to let Van Kauenberg shoot, I would think. Don't leave him alone, but they leave Rohrig alone. And Jonah just came up short on the 3 ball.
That one looked good.
Oh, it sure did. It was straight on. Now Kraus going to rumble all the way to the rim. Missed the layup, but Grabner's there. Tie up. Oh, and they're going to call a foul on McMullen, I believe. Or no, on Graff, excuse me. And that's going to be 5. And, oh, the referee stared him down there for a moment. I thought that was a jump ball. We didn't have a good angle, though the bodies were facing the other way, but Caden Graff has just fouled out.
They definitely both had their hands on that basketball. Tough way to go out.
That is a tough way to potentially end your career as a Kaukauna Galloping Ghost with 1:02 remaining.
You get a couple of seconds here to sub in. Both teams going to use it to huddle up for briefly here.
I think Schwalbach will be coming back for Kaukauna. So here is a 1-and-1 coming up for Grabner, I believe it was.
Yeah.
He's a 73% free throw shooter. The 6'9" senior. Another big 1-and-1. Alex Kraus just split a pair a moment ago. And that's long and all over the glasses. Jensen and the Ghost down 3 inside of a minute. Who's going to shoot it? McMullen cuts across the lane, gives it to Keegan. Couldn't pull the trigger. Alex Kraus all over him. Here's Van Kauenberg going to do a two-man game with Rohrig. Keegan, give it to Jonah, dump it into Jensen. Van Kauenberg trying to get an opening.
Baseline.
Fadeaway 3 for the tie. That's going to be off. No, long rebound to Rohrig. We're inside of 30. Jonah looks to Jensen. Now it's Schwalbach. Guarded by Van Offren. Tyler gives up his dribble. Mike Shallow maybe use a timeout potentially. Let's see. Van Kauenberg's doubled. Jensen for a tying 3. He made it! Inside of 10 seconds, we're down to 5. And a timeout. Andrew Jensen. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time out there, but he's 10 of 20 on the season now from distance. And we're tied at 74. And it's chaos at Bayport High School.
Well, everybody knew Keegan's going to touch that ball. That left Jensen open over there. Hesitated for a split second, but he's like, why not? He does have distance. He showed it there in a big-time situation.
If you're Kimberly, you'll take your chances on that all day long. But Van Kauenberg, out of the double team, he had no other options. He had to give it to the big guy. I thought potentially they would consider a two-point basket, but once it got down to about 10 seconds, Jensen, no doubter, he dropped it. What a big shot, one of his biggest ones of his career.
Well, the thing is, there was nobody from either team for a rebound. If everybody was playing on that side of the court, so it was going to be a race to who can get to the basketball first, but no need for that because it went through the twine.
That's a game-saving 3 by Andrew Jensen. And remember, Kimberly missed the back end of a bonus, and they missed a front end of a bonus. Up 3 when they missed the last front end. So that was huge.
Now you got to be careful not to foul here.
You cannot foul because it's a 1-and-1 if you do. 7 seconds, they're going to send it in, and here comes Wild into the front court with 6. Down to 5, Wilds fakes the handoff to Cullen. He drives to the rim, fade away, 10-footer. He traveled! Oh my goodness! With 1.6 remaining, Kaukauna will have an opportunity, and I think Mike Shallow's going to use a timeout, and he will.
He's got 2, so why not take one?
My goodness, the fadeaway jumper, I was waiting to call that, but they called steps on Mikey Wilds as he got very close to the rim, and then he pivoted and faded away, but he dragged the pivot foot. A big traveling call as we come down the stretch in an absolute white knuckler, as my friend Al McGuire. I wish he was my friend back in the day. I loved Al McGuire, one of the great coaches and commentators. He calls this a white knuckler.
How about the goosebumps, too? This is madness right down to the very end.
71-64 it was. So there's a 10-3 run. Yes, sir. A 10-3 run by the Ghost. And we talk about free throws. Kimberly, a very good free throw shooting team, but they left potentially 3 points out on that free throw line.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got to take advantage of that, too, and Kaukauna has.
Now 84 feet away. Let's see what Mike Shallow has drawn up.
So Kimberly only has, well, no, they do have 16 fouls. So
yep, next fall is 1-1, and that's the last thing you want to do here.
Here we
so
go.
Schwalbach's going to throw it in. It's got to be somewhat of a longer pass. There's time for maybe a couple of quick dribbles and then a launch. And you know they're going to try to get Van Kauenberg or Rohrig potentially loose. Keegan runs into the back court. Throw it to Jensen and a quick timeout. Yeah. So they gain about 30 feet in .4, right?
Yeah, that's pretty wise. Get as far as you can.
1.2 remaining. Plenty of time now. Now do you consider, and I know it's a longer pass, what would be wrong with maybe throwing it into the lane, high lob it to a guy like Jensen? I know it's a tough deal. There's only a 1.2. That's not a lot of time.
Well,
I don't think that's the route they'll go. It'll be Van Kauenberg probably coming off some sort of screen.
The advantage to doing that first option, try and draw the foul.
Correct.
And get Andrew back to the line, which he just knocked down a clutch free throw not too long ago.
Boy,
but not a lot of time here, 1.2.
Boy, you just can't. Some teams, you've got to drive a stake through their heart. You know, you're up 7. Kaukauna did slow it down. We talked about it earlier. Did it kind of stunt their growth a little bit in the momentum game, so to speak?
I'd start Keegan way down here and just have him start sprinting and try and catch him. Nope, they're going to set up in the half court.
Somebody is going to set up a off-ball screen. I would imagine it's going to be Schwalbach, the freshman, going to inbound. They're setting up in a square look, a box, if you will.
Kimberly's giving them the half-court shot.
They are. They're going to lay off. Jensen going to go back door. Ooh, they were kind of thinking about a lob. Van Kauenberg running 3 for the win, and he came up short. What a ball game, and why not? Put 4 on the clock, and let's play a little bit more high school basketball. Van Kauenberg with a 3-point runner. I said it was short. It was actually a little bit long. But, boy, you got to like your chances there with Van Kauenberg on a running 3 with 1.2 remaining. Take your chances. And I think Kaukauna pretty happy to get the overtime, partner.
Well, happy to get it into his hands, too. That was as good as you're going to get with that much time on the clock. And for him to even get a chance to get a shot off. He did hit the back of the rim. And more coach for Kimberly talking about, they're just playing kind of free basketball here. Well, now we literally have free basketball.
Yeah, he wasn't kidding, free basketball. My goodness. But we'll take it. 71-64. The Ghost trailed with about 3 minutes remaining. And it was a lot of different stuff that took place. Some missed free throws. Some very costly turnovers, Joe, against full court pressure for Kimberly. And that really swung this around.
Yeah, the Jensen slam dunk after the
steal by Van
free throw. That came with at 2:59 remaining after being down by 7 with 5 to go. And Kimberly was trying to play keep away, you remember.
Aaron Cullen, by the way, 28 for Kimberly. Jump ball. You would think Jensen would win it, and he does. And here we go. 4 minutes of overtime basketball in a sectional semifinal. Jonah Rohrig with a little ball fake there. Jonah trying to get his offense in gear. Had 1 3 ball in the first half. Now McMullen with a baseline drive. Tough pass to Schwalbach. Open Rohrig. Can he drill it? He does! Right on time, my friend.
Oh, he felt that one all the way. Great ball movement. Found him open. They've been doing it all year long, and he converts in a big situation.
And Kaukauna back in a lead that they haven't seen for some time. Here's Wilds. He's guarded by Schwalbach. Cullen puts his head down and to the rim and layup good. Aaron Cullen, my goodness. Game of his life. He's got 30. Oh, and Keegan does something He normally doesn't. Fumbles it out of bounds. Unforced turnover.
Yeah, a little buttery fingertips that time.
My goodness.
The sixth turnover of this second half / overtime for Kaukauna after only 2 in the first half unofficially.
Kaukauna up 1. Wilds looked like he was going to take Schwalbach down to the rim. Here's Cullen. He's been unbelievable. That ball might have been partially tipped by Jensen.
I think it was.
On the Cullen drive. Kaukauna up 1. Schwalbach to the rim. Right-handed layup good. Tyler Schwalbach stepping up as a freshman big time in a big moment. Kaukauna up 3. Kimberly doesn't need a 3. I'm sure they'd love to hit one right now. Keegan Plew, he's been very good tonight off the bench. He got stripped and fouled. It's going to be Rohrig. It'll be number 2 only. But more importantly for Kimberly, it's Keegan Plew to the free throw line. Only a 53% shooter.
He was way out of control there. Kind of lucky that he got the foul called.
9th team foul on Kaukauna. So that's a big number. The next one will be double bonus, of course, with 2:26 remaining. The winner will take on the winner of Eau Claire Memorial and Marshfield, I believe, at Lincoln High School in Wisconsin Rapids on Saturday. And Plew calmly knocks that first one down, a big front end. And they needed a couple of those in regulation. This game would have probably been over by now. And Plew drops both. And another 1-point lead for Kaukauna.
He's got 7 coming off of the bench. Big free throws there.
Now Kaukauna going to be very patient right here. And they're doubling off the ball on Jensen. They're going to dig here. Wide open shooter, McMullen on the way. Wide right. Brody has struggled a little bit from the 3-point line. I love the inside out though. Send it to Jensen and make him double, maybe triple him.
It was executed well, just not finished.
Mikey Wild trying to give Kimberly a lead, and he sprints to the rim for the left-handed layup. 21 for Wilds. Gives Kimberly a 1-point lead down to $140. I said last possession, I still feel that way. Here McMullen. Van Cowenberg guarded by Kraus. Keegan, I think, is going to try to break it down. Off a Rohrig screen, still has it. Now Jonah. They're not going to give Van Cowenberg an inch. Now Van Cowenberg somehow got to the lane, though, and laid it up and in. Great patience by a great scorer. And back and forth we teeter-tot. 81-80, Kaukauna.
Now nobody came over to help that. It's the first overtime game of the season for Kaukauna. I believe the second one for Kimberly.
Here's Cullen having a monster game. I think I had him with 30 unofficially. Down to 40 seconds. Would Kimberly hold for the last, potentially? They're going to call a timeout, I believe, Joel. Or I thought they were going to, but Van Offren said, no, I'm going to go to the rim. And the ball tipped out to Schwalbach. Tyler's doubled. He gives it to Rohrig. Ahead to Van Cowenberg with 24 seconds. And Keegan's going to get fouled. I don't know if Kimberly wanted that or not. I saw Coach Hoffensberger talking to the official like he was going to call a timeout.
Yeah.
But Van Offren saw an opening.
Well, Brody had broke free, and he was waving his hands up and down looking for a baseball pass.
Van Cowenberg calmly knocks down the front end, and now trying to make this a 3-point ball game with 22.7 remaining. And calmly the senior comes up big. 32 for Van Cowenberg.
We got to stand up for this.
Almost a near steal. Oh, and they're going to get Schwalbach on the reach. Boy, that was almost a game-winning steal potentially. But Schwalbach fouls his third. The good news is Kaukauna is up 3. Now you have to box out on a potential free throw miss. It is double bonus. 15.2 remaining. And Mikey Wild, 77% free throw shooter. And he showed why.
Can you tell which crowd we're right behind?
We're behind a lot of orange. And now Wild's trying to make it a 1-point ball game. And he does. One timeout remaining for each team, and they got to use it. Kaukauna does. Brody McMullen couldn't get it in. And we'll keep it right here with 15.2 seconds remaining. And now if you're Kimberly, you put on that full court pressure. And then at a point, if you don't get a steal, you got to figure out, okay, how long are we going to wait before we foul?
Right, and this is where the biggest thing for Kaukauna, just get it in. you don't want to mess things up here by taking too long getting it in or making an errant pass, throwing it away. You know the pressure's going to be coming, and you know that the foul is going to be coming too as soon as they do get it in, but you got to get it in first.
And I would imagine Kimberly is going to really try to keep this ball obviously out of the hands of Keegan Van Cowenberg. But if you double him away from the ball, that leaves somebody else open. I think if you're Kimberly, you play it straight up and you aggressively try to get a steal man-to-man. Maybe they trap out of it. You got to try to get a turnover here. And you don't need to foul immediately. There's enough clock.
Plenty of time to really put on the pressure in the backcourt here.
McMullen's going to trigger.
And nobody's across center court, really.
He's going to be unguarded. They're going to face guard on Jensen. Jensen going to set a back screen. They get it to Schwalbach, and they're going to put the freshman on the line immediately. So no attempt really at a steal as Aaron Cullen picks up his first foul.
And only a 1-on-1 coming.
Yeah, that's only team foul number 8. Kimberly already in the double bonus. 14.4 remaining. Schwalbach, only a 52% free throw shooter, and he came up empty. Here comes Kimberly with a chance to win. To the rim, Cullen, layup good. And now a throw-in and a steal by Keegan Plew, and that is a tough situation, but this game is not over. Aaron Cullen has been an absolute killer tonight. He got to the rim, and then a throw-in by McMullen, and the turnover puts Keegan Plew on the line. Even if he makes both, still an opportunity. Kaukauna with no timeouts remaining. Here's Plew, the first of 2 on the way is good. 3 for 3 in overtime from the line for Plew.
Yeah, 5 for 5 as a team after missing 2 clutch ones in regulation. They're getting it done.
We talk about free throws, and Kaukauna missed a huge 1-and-1. Plew short. Here comes Van Cowenberg. Down by 2 for the win. He shot it long as Keegan Van Cowenberg tried to win the ball game at the buzzer. And the Kimberly Papermakers survive in overtime in an instant classic in Division I sectional basketball. That is hard to watch if you're a Kaukauna fan, Joe. 85-83 your final as Van Cowenberg, he had a running 3 in regulation that would have won it, and he had an even more difficult running 3 at the overtime buzzer to win it. But you got to give it up. The Kimberly Papermakers, my goodness, 13-13 on the season. None of that matters. They got an interim coach that stepped in. He's now 4-1, and the Papermakers move on to a sectional final.
What a battle. I mean, that is everything that you would expect in a playoff basketball game between 2 rivals. Everything on the line. I mean, pretty much the entire game. It was a 10-point game way, way, way early on. But this Kimberly squad, this is something special that they have cooking in the cooker these last 5 games. Something smells good in Kimberly, and that's a victory.
The fortitude of that basketball team after they gave up that 7-point lead inside of 3 minutes. They had some missed free throws. They had some turnovers. And Andrew Jensen just made some huge plays, including the game-tying 3 to put this game to overtime. But at the end of the day, Kimberly ends up shooting 5 of 6 from the free throw line in overtime, and it was Keegan Plew shooting 3 out of 4 from the stripe. And my goodness, it's amazing how a basketball season can be like a roller coaster ride, and that's kind of what the Kimberly Papermakers have been on this year.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at their entire season. That's exactly what it was. They win a couple in a row, then they would lose a couple in a row. I mean, they lost their first 3, then they went on a 4-game winning streak, then a 4-game losing streak, 4-game winner, 4-game loser, now a 4-game winner, right at the right time. It really has. I mean, it's been quite a ride, and they're keeping it going. Stay strapped in, Kimberly fans.
They will head to Lincoln High School in Wisconsin Rapids on Saturday. Not sure who they're going to face. We don't have a winner of that game, but it's Eau Claire Memorial and Marshfield. Wow. Let's send it to a timeout, a final timeout, and take a breath. 85-83, the number 1 seed Galloping Ghosts. They fall to the number 13 seed, the Kimberly Papermakers. 85-83, your final on the OSMS scoreboard. Back with Postgame. Yes, you're watching Ghost playoff basketball on Sports Faith YouTube.
Faced with a tough healthcare decision, you've been given a diagnosis and treatment options, but you're still not comfortable with the plan. It may be time to get another opinion. I'm Dr. Jason Klein, orthopedic surgeon and physician owner at OSMS. No matter what you're questioning, a second opinion can give you peace of mind. OSMS is doctor-owned and patient-focused, and we're here to help you understand your options so you can stay in charge of your health. Learn more at askforosms.com.
For Van Collenberg.
And we are back, and it was chaotic at Bayport High School tonight. I'm Craig Bone, Joey D to my left, Connor Olson to my right producing. I don't know. They don't get a whole lot better than that. 85-83 in overtime. Kimberly, I guess you can call it an upset based on seeding, but that's a good basketball team that Kaukauna just lost to, and what an entertaining ball game it was. 45-40, Kaukauna led at the half. They had a couple of 10-point leads in the first half, and then Kimberly came out in that second half, and Kaukauna did not score for the first 2.5, almost 3 minutes of that second half, and you just felt the momentum early in that second half belonged to Kimberly. And then, as we talked about, 71-64 with about 3 minutes remaining, and then Kaukauna went into desperation mode, and it took an Andrew Jensen 3-point bucket to win or tie this game and put it into overtime, as you can see us on camera. Our good producer right here, Connor Olson. Hi, everybody. We're out of breath.
Woo!
I think we feel like we've actually played in a basketball game tonight, to say the least. What an entertaining game.
You know, you said this in the break, but I was thinking the exact same thing these last couple of games. This is why we do it, right? I've been broadcasting for 30 years now, and it never gets old. I mean, it's stuff like this. March is when it happens. You get goosebumps and
Absolutely.
love being a part of this. I can't imagine what the players are feeling right now, but us here as broadcasters, we love doing it. We situate things a little bit there.
Wow.
Just sensational. And the big players coming up big as 32 points going out with a bang for Keegan Van Collenberg. 25 for Andrew Jensen, leading the way for Kaukauna. For Kimberly, the two big guys, 32 for Colin, 23 for Wilds, including big layup right there at the end of the contest. And that's what decided, showing his speed. He did that the entire game.
Aaron Cullen just absolutely tremendous. He had a game, it was either last year or 2 years ago, against Kaukauna in an overtime victory in that particular game, a regular season game. And I believe he had 28 in that game, but he shatters it tonight with 32. Cullen, Mikey Wilds with 23. And then you look at the rest of the scoring, 13 or 12, it looks like unofficially, from Ben Grabner. 8 from Keegan Plew, including 3 of 4 from the free throw line late in overtime to seal the victory. And I think you might have mentioned some of the ghosts. But Keegan Van Kauenberg, a tough end to his senior year. He goes on to UW Green Bay. He finishes with 32 to match Aaron Cullen. 25 from Andrew Jensen. And 9 points tonight from Caden Graff before he fouled out.
Fouled out of the game, and that it's hard to say if that was a turning point or not, but things definitely change when Caden Graff's not in there. And he played very well because he had 2 of those fouls early on. Played very well to stay out of the foul trouble. And the last one was, in broadcast terms, ticky-tacky. But
a little bit, but he played well in foul trouble most of the game. Finished with 9. Brody McMullen and Jonah Rohrig with 6 each. Jonah with a clutch 3 actually in overtime to give Kaukauna a short-lived lead. 5 from Tyler Schwalbach, and that is it. Their total of 83 points as the Ghosts fall in overtime. Boy, it was a fun one to say the least.
Boy, that's why we do it. This is we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Wow.
And bringing it to you all season long. Unfortunate way to end it here and bowing out, but man, got to give it to the Papermakers. There's something special marching on.
I think there is. Kimberly with a lot of momentum, and now they go to a sectional final, 1 game away from a state appearance. And speaking of state, they have a few state titles. John Myron back in the mid-90s, 94 and 95, back-to-back state champions. And boy, would they love to get back there, and they got 1 more game to go, Eau Claire, Memorial, or Marshfield on Saturday.
The hallways are filled with trophies, and the banners are full, and they're looking to add to it, no doubt about it, and a classic here this evening.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to do it for our coverage of Kaukauna basketball this year. I want to thank my partner right here, Joey D, for joining me, and Connor Olson, the sophomore producer from Bayport. He's in his home gym doing some producing today, and he did a wonderful job showing us some replays, giving us some halftime stats, making sure all our great sponsors are given their opportunity. And speaking of that, why not one last time, let's rattle them off. Our season-long sponsorship and Kaukauna sponsors, North Star Dental Group. Today's game brought to you by OSMS, by Let Me Be Frank Productions, by Pfefferly Management, and by NAI Pfefferly. And we want to thank PRN Home Health and Therapy as well. And our hometown sponsors, Kaukauna Boys Hoops Club. I want to thank Brian Repke for sponsoring this year. It's been a fabulous year. We broadcasted all 10 home games this year for Kaukauna, and this makes number 11 here at Bayport today. And we want to thank Pagoni's Pizza of Kaukauna, and also Three Brothers Family Restaurant, 215 West Wisconsin Avenue in Kaukauna, and Ashwaubenon Bowling Lanes, the Family Fun Center, 2929 Allied Street in Green Bay.
Always like to thank our facilities as well. Bayport setting us up kind of tough because we did have a lot of people, let's just say a lot of people are interested in this game, including us. They made some room for us, so thank you to everybody here at Bayport as well.
Yeah, Dylan Maney, unbelievable job as an AD. Your AD, Connor. And, wow, yeah, 3 live streams up here today, a radio station down on the floor. Highly anticipated basketball game as we close out a Kaukauna basketball season here on Sports Faith YouTube. So thanks again, partner,
Been a
for joining us.
blast.
And thank you, Connor Olson, for your great work. My name is Craig Bone. We will talk to you most likely down at the state tournament. We'll see who makes it locally, and we'll follow hopefully a couple teams. And it might be this Kimberly team here, and it might be the De Pere Redbirds on the other side of the Division I bracket.
A lot of chances here. What a season it's been for both boys and girls. Congratulations to the Xavier girls team winning earlier today.
Yes, indeed. They go to the finals against Oostburg. That'll be fun on Saturday. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's going to do it. Let's get out of here. Joey D, thanks again. Connor Olson, I'm Craig Bowen. Good night. Your final, once again, 85-83 Kimberly in overtime as they advance to a sectional final. You've been watching live postseason Kaukauna Ghost basketball right here on Sports Faith YouTube. Good night.
Wait, how many times do I have to come back?
Personal foul. Too many appointments. You should have gone to North Star Dental.
Dr. Pete and his team have experience, and with today's technology can do more dentistry in just one visit.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pete Haley from North Star Dental, and dental implants should last a lifetime. Whether you need a single tooth replacement or a full mouth reconstruction, you can get it all done here under one roof.
North Star Dental, changing your life by changing your smile.